Good evening, everyone. This is Reading for Charity again. Continuing on the epic charity read of 100 books in a year for the Archie Foundation, raising money for them. Raised a heap of money so far. It's a fantastic charity. If you've never supported them before, please do so. The links will be in the description of this video on YouTube and on Twitch. So please, if you've never donated, please donate. Okay, gone through that way. Onto the review, and this one is going to be Shadows Linger, which has actually got kind of like a weird, you don't actually see it on the picture that I've got there. That picture doesn't do it justice on this. It's got some sort of weird 3D-ish effect you can't really quite see. Actually mildly sore on the eyes. They've got weird shadows in it. The whole cover actually feels like it's slightly out of focus. It's weird. So this is a continuation on from the Black Company that I started before. The Black Company I really enjoyed for a whole heap of reasons. That it felt like a very, very contemporary fantasy novel in how it was written, but with the length of an old school fantasy novel, which is to say 300 something pages, not 800 something pages. Now Shadows Linger basically just follows straight on from the Black Company, and continues with the Black Company in the employ of the lady who is the great evil of the land. And basically an awful lot of what I said for the Black Company works for this book as well. I mean, the characterization, everything he's built in the Black Company is amplified in Shadows Linger. So the characters remain excellent. They remain they all have their own individual goals. They only have their own individual voices, which is, again, one of the things that I'm big on in these books. It's an easy book to read. And what I like a lot of, again, what I said in the Black Company with Shadows Linger, is that he will jump from one thing to the next without any of the intervening space in between. So a lot of the fantasy novels you read, and this is a lot of them, will pad space by having a journey happen virtually in real time. You know, they crossed over this hill, and then they camped for a day, and then they crossed this ford, and then they camped for a day, and then they did a little bit of hunting, and then they camped for a day. And it's like, nothing's actually happening, just skip to something happening. Shadows Linger very much skips to something happening. So, they very much bounce, the Black Company itself marches for like 1,000 miles over the course of the book, and then turns up virtually at the end. Whereas, Croker and Elmo and that bunch are in the book for the whole part. It's far more scheming and subterfuge and spy-esque in the Shadows Linger than the Black Company, which kind of was more of a straight-up fantasy war. And it's all the better for it. I mean, they focus on a very small group of characters who are excellent characters. And the book does keep twisting and turning. By the end of Shadows Linger, and again, no spoilers, as far as I can go, no spoilers. By the end of the Shadows Linger, it's mildly annoying, because the twist at the end of Shadows Linger you feel has been put into place for the meta story. The twist at the end of Shadows Linger feels wrong. It feels wrong. The knowledge that Croker and Silent have is dangerous, yes. So neither of them should be in the presence of the lady, but there's no reason for the Taken to be so suspicious of them and turn on them. The twist at the end is annoying, because you feel that it's been done so the third book can be the White Rose, not so the story is being particularly well served. It's annoying. It's slightly annoying. But again, there's a very, very good kind of meta thing going on in Shadows Linger, which is to do with what's the guy's name? Shed, I think it is, isn't it? Where the Shed is basically the picked on, butt of all the jokes in the Shed in the city, and he's constantly at risk of losing his livelihood, his life. Everyone conspires against him because he has something that they want. And then over the course of the book, he develops, the backbone required to actually get stuff done. And it's a really nice little examination of, one, you just keep pushing someone and 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 pushing someone. At some point, they'll just break and become, the mouse will roar. That's, I think, the way that they write Shed. And it's really, really well done. Shed's, it's a small bit character, but is really, really well done in the book. Really like Shed's evolution. So the one annoying thing I have about the book, other than the twist at the end, which is, unfathomable, is that whole chunk of this book requires stupidity in order to happen. And in particular, it is the Dominator's minions. So, without giving too much away about the book, the Dominator has a huge black castle which grows at the side of this mountain, overlooking a city, and the denizens inside require bodies, fresh or still living, in order to enact a ritual to bring the Dominator back from the Barrowlands. That's essentially the essence of the story in itself. However, the denizens prove to be so effective that the only thing that can stop them is the whole of the Black Company, a handful of Taken, and pretty much the lady herself, in order to keep back the denizens from the Black Castle from snatching enough people to bring the Dominator back. The problem I have with this is that they wait until the Black Company, all the Taken, and the lady herself are in the city before they try snatching everyone. Up until that point, they're happy with grave diggers and body snatchers to kind of get their quota of bodies. But it makes no sense. It makes no sense for them to do so. They are so powerful and they're so strong that they could have snatched all the bodies they wanted and have enacted the ritual before anyone could have even left the city to call for help. By the time someone had called for help, gotten to the lady, as a messenger, and requested to help, it would have been months, because it takes months for the, or at least weeks, for that company to trek from Charm to the name of the city. The name of the city is now Rust, is it? I think it's Rust. To actually get there in the first place. So by the time that a messenger had gotten from the city to the lady, they would have snatched everything that they'd wanted, all the people they wanted, and they would have managed to do the ritual. It's super, super annoying that they have to wait. The only way that the end of the story works is if they wait long enough for the big fight scene to happen with the Black Company and the denizens of the Dominator. So that's the one annoying bit for me. As I was reading through this, I go, well, why didn't they just do all this earlier? Why did they wait until the Taken and the Black Company turned up? They could have done this at any time. And they are ridiculously powerful. They require Whisper and Limper and to basically keep everyone in check. So why do it? It's super annoying, but it's one of only 2 or 3 things in the book that actually annoy me. The positives in the book hugely outweigh the negatives. There's a couple of quibbles, which is the story's been written to advance the meta story more than it's been written to actually as a standalone story. And I'm feeling that a little bit with the White Rose as well. I suspect I'm going to have the same criticism in that the meta story is more important than the actual book itself. I think the Black Company, Shadowlingers, and White Rose it's a 900-page book that's been split up into 3. So maybe my criticism about these books being the right size is maybe unfounded, maybe founded. I don't know. I'll think about that one by the time I get to the end of the White Rose. But it's an excellent book, excellent book. The way that the Croaker and the lady's relationship, and I use that in inverted commas because she is completely inhuman. She's just a denizen of power, and he is just but a man. Continues to flourish. One Eye and Goblin are still 2 fantastic wizardly characters that I think if Glenn Cook, if these books were better known, they would be up there with some of the the famous fantasy characters, because they're just ridiculously well done. The fact that the fights that they have between each other, yet are still, whenever one of them's in danger, the other one will absolutely kill themselves to save them. You know, they are the best of friends, yet they squabble all the time, and the fights they have are entertaining, and they're both entertaining characters. If these books were better known, they would be some of the, you know, the iconic fantasy characters that we know. I genuinely do think that. I think they're that well written. Croker is an excellent character. I think he's a really, really, really good. Those are the three best ones, I think. Raven becomes a bit annoying. Darling is a bit underwritten, understandably. I mean, she's the White Rose. She's basically the MacGuffin. The rest of the Black Company are inconsequential, essentially, to what's going on, for the most part. It's really all about Croker, One Eye, and Goblin. And a bit of Raven. But, like I said, Raven is the magical mystery man who can do absolutely anything that's required of the situation in order to drag things onwards. But yeah, you know, mild annoyances aside, it's a fantastic book. Better than Black Company. Yeah, better than the Black Company, just because it's different, I think. I think I've read enough, you know, big mass warfare stuff. The Stephen Erickson books have enough of that. So the kind of slightly more subterfuge elements I thought were great. But yes, there's not too much to say about Shadows Linger that I've not already said in Black Company. So I'll probably leave it at that. It's just over 10 minutes, yes. So, Shadows Linger. Should you read this book? On its own, no. As part of the Black Company series, yes, definitely. The Black Company series, so far, 2 books in, ridiculously good. Really, really good fantasy novels. I'm astonished these are not better known, because they deserve to be. They're right up there with, you know, the Stephen Ericksons and the Robert Jordans of the world. They're really, really good books. Really enjoying these a lot. Okay, so next up will be The White Rose. And I've almost finished it, so I should be finished this one tonight. So the aim is to have this review tomorrow. Again, depending on everything. My daughter's decided that I'm her favourite for going to bed just now, so my evenings are taken up trying to get her to bed, and by the time that's done, then the evening's slipping away. So I will try it. I'll try to get this one done tomorrow. This review done tomorrow. Almost all the way through. The interesting tag on this is The Final Battle Comes, the third chronicle of the Black Company. I'm that the way through it, you know, almost all the way through it, and there's absolutely no inclination of there being a final battle yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they pull that off the last 100 pages of the book. But anyway, that's the next review. That'll be the next review. Until then, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Reading for Charity. Reading Shadows Linger for the Archie Foundation, a charity read, 100 books in a year, trying to raise lots of money for charity. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.